Hey everybody, it's Michael Colomb with Travels with Michael, and here's a new video on travel tips for you. Okay, so this travel tip video is going to be about the benefits of using your Apple Watch for traveling. And I think it's one of the best tools on the market. And I'm also wearing my glasses. I don't normally wear them, but I have a whole list of things I want to get to, so I'll be reading. I apologize, but I look pretty studious, right? But I know a lot of people don't think that they need an Apple Watch because they don't want the constant reminders. You know, they want to be able to put their phone down and not be bothered with notifications. But this isn't a video about why you should get the Apple Watch, although you can actually set up with notifications that you actually want to receive rather than, what you don't want to receive. But this video really is why I think if you already have an Apple Watch, or even if you're thinking about buying one, how it's a good tool for those who love to travel. So truthfully, the Apple Watch, it could be used as a simple replacement for your phone, at least in some small part. And I've seen a lot of YouTubers do videos where, they leave their Apple Watch on for an entire day and they leave their cell phone at home. But again, this really isn't that kind of video. And I love having a smartwatch. I've had one for many years, starting with like the earlier Samsung watches. So I've always been a fan. I love just how convenient and accessible they are. But I also like wearing watches, and I don't know, it's this kind of cool technology. But when I switched to the Apple and I got my first Apple Watch, I learned early on how powerful and useful that this device is. So I think it works best more as an extension of your phone rather than a replacement. But the watch is designed to work on its own, especially if you have an LTE model that, that has kind of its own cell phone number that it can kind of work in tangent. Except for when you're traveling abroad, because you have to keep that on roaming, and then it sort of works in tandem with the Bluetooth thing. But it is designed to work on its own because it is a workout fitness tool. But I'm going to show you how I use it for traveling. But this is a travel channel, so let's talk about travel tips. By the way, do you love my little plant over here? Trying to give some life to the corner. Anyways, one of the first things I want to start with is the Apple Digital Wallet. It's one of the best things I love about Apple, and I'm literally obsessed with this function. But within the Apple Wallet, you can download your credit cards, your bank cards, loyalty cards, any transit cards you might use. You can download a lot of your reservations and boarding passes that you can use when you're getting onto a plane. And then most states will have a digital vaccine card that you can put in there as well. So, if you need to show up before you get on a plane or if you go into a bar or a restaurant, it's just easily accessible. It shows all the dates of when you had your vaccines. And then Apple is also slowly rolling this out. So hopefully, over the next 6 months to a year, as more states get involved, you will be able to download your driver's license and or state ID card. Right now, only Arizona and Maryland are the two states that have it. And I'm in California, so hopefully soon California agrees with this. But what was so cool is that you'll have a copy of your actual driver's license and or state ID in the Apple Wallet that you can use. So that way you don't have to rumble for a lot of cards. So to me, I think that's one of the coolest things is that it's all there. But it's like it said, it's a really slow rollout. So we're hoping that in the next 6 months to a year, more states will sign on. But one of the best things is that you can organize everything in your wallet very easily. You can do everything by alphabetical, or if you want to group certain things together so they're easier to find. It's really just as simple as just dragging and moving along. It's simple. And guess what? The Apple Digital Wallet is available on the Apple Watch. How cool is that? Okay, so I don't want to spend too much time talking about apps specifically for the Apple Watch because I do want to do an entirely different video on apps for both the iPhone and the Apple Watch that I use for traveling. So this video is going to touch on them slightly, and then we're really going to focus on the built-in features of the watch. But just so you know, most travel apps, including airlines and hotels, will have apps for Apple Watches. So, at a quick glance, you can access most of the information that you need. So, your boarding pass is usually available within the apps as well, and therefore accessible by your smartwatch. And it will also notify you both on your phone and your watch, of any flight changes, So having all of this on your wrist is very convenient, especially if you're running from one gate to another. You know, if you have sometimes you'll get really short layovers. So that's kind of nice if for some reason something changes and that you can't if you can't pull your phone out quickly. It's nice to just have it on your watch, especially as you're getting off the airplane and running through the airport. So that's one of the things I really think is important about having the smartwatch. And you might not have a free hand, you know, in which to look at your phones. So some of these apps, like including Delta, which I personally fly all the time, and Airbnb, and then I also use TripIt. So having them right there on your watch, I think is probably one of the most convenient and best reasons why you should use your Apple Watch when traveling. Okay, so if you're like me, sometimes you'll find really good deals on flights, but it means you have to leave probably first thing in the morning, which means you have to set an alarm. And what's great about the alarm on your Apple Watch is that it mirrors your Apple phone. So, you know, if you are sleeping, not only will your phone go off, but your Apple Watch will also do haptic taps on your wrist that will slowly wake you up. So it's just another sort of added bonus to having it. And I always sleep with my Apple Watch because I want it to track my sleeping record. But yeah, so you hear the sound from your phone, but you also feel a tap on your wrist, and it's just another way to ensure that you get up in time. Okay, so one thing I really like to do when I travel, usually internationally, is I like to change my watch face on my watch. So that way it represents where I'm traveling to. So like, for example, when I flew to Ireland for my birthday, I changed the watch face to have the Irish flag. And I know it seems really cheesy, but to me it's fun, right? Because like it gets me more excited, and then I get really excited, like I'll be standing in line and I'll show it to people. So that's why I think it's kind of cool, and I'll use the Facer app to kind of like look up flags and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll put photos of previous trips that I've taken, or if I take photos throughout the trip, I might put them into like a carousel on the app on the watch, so that I can, you know, it shows up when I'm on tours and stuff. So yeah, I know it's cheesy. I know it's probably something you won't want to do, but to me, I don't know, it kind of just makes the trip more fun. The other thing is that the watch bands are very interchangeable as well, and they're very, very easy to take off. Apple has designed it that way because there's little bands right here. They just come right off. It's very simple, and it's so easy, and it doesn't matter what size watch you have. Most of the bands are pretty interchangeable, and so therefore you can order bands that, like, instead of putting the flag, the Irish flag on the watch, I could have gotten like an Irish flag sort of watch band, I guess. So that's kind of cool. There's also really good watch bands, like if you want to hike or anything like that, they're a little more breathable. This one just seems to be like a little chain link that I got from Apple, but there's all kinds of bands, and like I said, they're interchangeable, and you can just get like a little you can just throw them in your luggage. They're simple. So yeah, why not just change it up a bit and do something different? Okay, so if you have AirPods, which I like to use my AirPods Pro because they do block out a lot of noise on the airplane, and I find that sometimes it's difficult for me to sleep, so I use AirPods Pro specifically. But I know some people just use AirPods or just the headphones that come with your phone. But what's great about the Apple Watch is you can listen to music and or audiobooks while on the plane. And if you download them ahead of time, because most of the time you have to be on airplane mode, you kind of just put your phone in the back pocket of the chair so you can have room on your little table, because it's this long. And sometimes I like to write on my tablet, or I might play like on my Switch. And so I like to keep, you know, or if I'm even eating, like you can listen to music. And what's great is having the Apple Watch right here is there's a complication for the music app. And you can just, you know, if you don't want to listen to a song or listen to a song again, you can just control all of that, including the volume, right from the Apple Watch. The only note I have is make sure that you check the pockets and everything, and make sure that you have all your devices before you deplane. So the overall message that I really am trying to convey is just how easy and efficient the Apple Watch is. Especially when you're traveling, because look, you usually need to have your hands free for carrying luggage or pulling out your passport, you know, or other documentation, which, you know, is why I love using all of that on the Apple Watch with the digital wallet. But as I have said in previous videos, sometimes you might be in an area where it could be unsafe, or you're venturing out at night, maybe getting a drink with some friends perhaps, or you're visiting an area that is known for pickpocketers, which, you know, happens when you're in places like Barcelona, which is where I was at earlier this year, as well as Paris. So there's an ease and functionality with the watch, which is why I really love it. And Apple has really taken great care when designing the watch for things like that. And one of the cool things about the new OS coming out, OS 9, I think later this year, is that they're adding a function to the health watch that allows to remind you to take your medication. So you'll log all of your medication in there, and when you have to take it, it'll remind you when you have to take it. It'll also tell you if you're having interactions with medicine. So to me, that's one of the best things about traveling, because when you're running around like crazy, you could forget to take your medicine, and you just want to make sure that you can do it safely as possible. So staying with the theme of being more hands-on and convenient, the Apple Watch has so many great features to use while actually traveling. Okay, so one of the best ones I love is Apple Maps or Google Maps, which you can also download. But I personally prefer Apple Maps because when I travel, I love to walk around. I love to walk. My friend Blake and I, whenever we travel, usually get an Airbnb sort of in the center of town or a hotel, and we'll walk everywhere. And I love that. So keeping that, I want to keep myself small and light. I will sometimes have a sling bag, and I'll keep my phone in my wallet and everything in there. And then I'll map where I want to go, where I'm traveling. And then what's really great is as I'm walking, I can track my status on my Apple Watch, but it can also give me a haptic tap. So like if I'm walking and we're looking at something beautiful, we're not really paying attention, the watch will vibrate on my wrist to tell me which way I need to go. And I can bring it up and go, oh, I have to go left, right, continue going forward, which is kind of nice. And then what's also cool with that is that it has the pedometer app as well. So I really, really try and get 10,000 steps in a day. When I'm traveling, I get twice as much, which is even better. But having all that on your wrist is kind of cool because, again, it keeps your hands free. Especially like if you're buying souvenirs, you want to be able to have your hands free because you want to, be able to carry that stuff. But again, like I tell you, I always carry some sort of small sling bag so I can put like small items in. And then therefore I keep my hands free. And all of my directions are going to be right here on the Apple Watch, which again is very convenient. Okay, so when you do find something beautiful or amazing and you'll take a photo of it, the one thing that the Apple Watch can do is to help you take a selfie. There is actually a built-in remote that helps you control the camera. And I actually had heard about this, and I'd read about it, and I'd seen videos on it, but I never actually tried it until a couple weeks ago when I was doing a photo shoot with my friend Tyler. And we wanted to do a cool video of us sort of walking towards the camera for Instagram Reels. But it was only the two of us, and I was like, we can't both be in it, especially because we wanted to do slow motion for, kind of like a cool effect. And the thing with slow motion is like, it pretty much starts right away, so I can't just run into the thing. So I actually used the remote on my watch, and then I set up the shot. Like I put the phone against something, or if you have a small tripod, you can just set it up. And then from the remote, it gives you a timer. So you have about a 3-second countdown. So, you hit it and then you can take it. So it does work for selfies. It does work if you want to do videos. And that's like the coolest thing. And what's really cool about the watch is from the watch, you can actually be able to see the frame from the phone. So you guys can adjust while in front of the phone. To me, that's a very powerful tool. And trust me, we all take videos while we're traveling and photos. So why not make it easy? So there are tons of apps available for the watch, and I do plan on doing a future video about apps, like I said, for both the iPhone and the Apple Watch. But if you're camping, or if you're taking a nice weekend trip, going to a national park, there are really good apps that can track your hiking or cycling. And you can also do that through the workout app on the watch. So you can track your distance. Some of the apps will actually, track like the area you're in, your GPS stuff, which is kind of nice. So if you want to track that, and then sometimes a lot of them will have communities that you can go against. So that's kind of nice. So I definitely want to review that later, but just know that, the workout app is great because you can track your miles walked, cycled, all that good stuff. And a lot of the health benefits all through the health app and the workout app. So that's one good thing about having the smartwatch. I love traveling abroad. It's really one of my most favorite things. So when you're traveling abroad in another country, you actually can use Siri to help you translate. If maybe there's a word you don't know, or if you're trying to find directions and need to speak to someone, you can ask Siri to help you translate. There is also an app. It's not necessarily native, but you can download it to the Apple Watch. That'll help you translate. Also the same with currency. If, you find that you need to take a taxi, or if you're in a restaurant, need to, figure out the currency, there are also apps for that. There are also really great native apps that I love about the Apple Watch. One of them is being weather and the world clock. Weather's great because, I live in Los Angeles and the weather's pretty much usually sunny. But when I leave Los Angeles, it's always a crapshoot on what kind of weather I'm going to get. Sometimes it could be raining, sometimes it could be windy, depends on where I'm going and where I'm traveling. So having the weather app right there on my wrist is kind of nice because I can check it constantly. And then also the same with the world clock. So what's so great about the world clock is I can set it up for what time it is where I live here in Los Angeles, and then keep an eye on it. So if I need to contact anybody at home, I make sure that I don't call them at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I try to call them at a reasonable time. So there is actually a world clock on the Apple Watch that you can use. I want to talk about 2 of my favorite native apps on the Apple Watch, which are the calculator and the walkie-talkie. So if you follow my YouTube channel or Instagram, you know that I do travel a lot with my friend Blake. So Blake and I will travel, and we'll go out to a restaurant, and we'll both order food and drinks and stuff, and then the bill will come. And what's great about the calculator function is that it helps you figure out the tip, and also helps you how to figure out and split the bill. So that to me is very, very convenient. It's not available on the iPhone. This particular function is only available on the Apple Watch, which is really cool. Because now, I know a lot of countries don't always allow tipping, or you don't have to tip. But here in America, we do. So even if you're traveling to like another state or another city, that's a good function to have. And I do know some of the major cities, you can tip, especially if the service is really, really good. So having that function right here is very, very convenient. Now, however, Blake does not have an iPhone, and nor does he have an Apple Watch. He doesn't have a smartwatch. But if you're traveling with family or friends and you guys all have Apple Watches, there is a walkie-talkie function in the Apple Watch, which I'm just as obsessed with as I am with the Apple Digital Wallet. And it works just like a walkie-talkie. And so you can add your friend. It's very simple. You just open up the app, you find your friend's number, and you invite them and they accept. And then it works. It basically works over FaceTime audio. So it should work when traveling abroad. All the researchers I've seen has said this. But let's just say you're lost or you guys want to meet up later. You can use the walkie-talkie app to reach, and you don't have to be next to each other at all. You just are able to walkie-talkie people and be like, hey, like, where's your location? We're here. Let's meet here in 10, And so it's just a nice, fun, and easy, convenient way to locate people really quickly. It's not necessarily designed for long conversations. It's really, in my opinion, just be like, hey, where are you guys? Oh, we're over here. Let's meet here in 5, blah, blah, blah. So that, to me, is kind of cool. And I think, just like we used to play with walkie-talkies when we were a kid, but it's kind of cool because you just hold it up and you're able to talk to and listen to it. Also, if you have your AirPods in, you can talk and listen through your headphones as well. So that's kind of cool. So that's just one more function that you can have. And that's native to the Apple Watch. So one of the last things I want to mention, which the Apple Watch has 2 functions that I wanted to share with you that I think help you get the most out of the Apple Watch. So when you're traveling, you can put 10 apps within the dock of the Apple Watch. The dock is similar to like the bottom row of your iPhone or the bottom row of like your MacBook. Kind of works the same way. You just press this button once on the side of the watch and it brings up the dock. And you could put, like I said, 10 different apps there. So if you want to put like Google Maps, the translator, the currency, and your digital wallet, like anything you think you're going to use the most, they're there. That way, hit the side of the button, everything comes up and it's easily accessible. That way you're not like trying to like scroll through the crazy menu, or you have to, scroll through the grid. It's just easily accessible. Those are the 10 you're going to use the most. You don't have to use all 10. You can just use up to 10. I like that. You can also create complications. And I use the infograph watch face because you can put about I think 8 different complications. So that's kind of cool. And then on the watch face, you can put complications like the weather, I like to put my messaging, Google Maps, my calendar. So if I schedule out my entire itinerary, it's just right there at first glance going, oh, hey, we gotta go here, we gotta go here, we gotta go here. And I'll also put the walkie-talkie if I'm gonna, message people. So I think those are 2 of the most convenient ways that you can utilize the watch that really, really maximize your trip while you're traveling. So the dock 10, and then complications, and they're easy to use. There's different kinds of complications. So, you can mix and match and find the best complications that will work for you while you're traveling. Okay, so this is how I use the Apple Watch for traveling. Thank you for being patient with me. This is the first time I've done a video that was this long and this in depth, but I really do love using the Apple Watch, and I really love using it for traveling. And I think these are some of the best ways that you can utilize and maximize your Apple Watch while traveling. So if there's anything that I've missed, please put it down in the comments below. And again, this is Michael Combs with Travels with Michael, and I'll see you on your next adventure.